Good old Brittany clears my SwitchBot K10 Plus robot vacuum is old news. SwitchBot have sent me the upgraded K10 Plus Pro, so meet Clear Starmer. He's called that because he's having to clean up someone else's mess. So let's take a closer look at this Pro version and see what's new and what's better about it. So you all know that I love the little SwitchBot K10 Plus robot vacuum. I'll stick a link to my original review down in the description for you in case you want to check that out. The K10 Plus is super compact and really sucks. Sucks in a good way, like has a lot of suction power for its size. The base station means it doesn't need to have a huge dustbin on board because it can go and empty itself when it needs to. It can easily work its way around under my dining room table, between all of the chair legs too. And because it's not huge, it really nicely fits into a little nook when it's not in use. So when SwitchBot told me they had updated and improved it, I jumped at the chance to have a look. Thanks to SwitchBot for sending me the K10 Plus Pro to have a look at, and thanks to them for also sponsoring this video, but these views are all my own. So let's go and have a look at the old and the new one side by side. Here they both are, and you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference at first glance. Both docking stations are the exact same size and design, apart from the K10 Plus Pro has a grey docking area whereas the old one is black. Looking at the actual robots themselves, they are the same physical dimensions. The only real visible differences are around the sensors. The K10 Plus Pro has a larger window on the front for the main collision sensor, and the edge sensor above the brush has a smaller window too. They've also labelled it as wall detection, and that's the first clue as to what is different about this model. If you remove the dustbin, then you'll notice a new rear sensor hidden in there too. That's because one of the new features is a more advanced wall detection, meaning it can in theory get a lot closer to the edges and corners of your rooms and any obstacles that you might have lying around. I'm going to show you that in action later on. If we turn the robots over, you can see that there's a slight change to the design of the body. There's a screwed down panel here which, let's be honest SwitchBot, you know full well that I'm going to open that up to have a look. This actually caught me by surprise. It's the battery. The battery in the Pro is now user replaceable, which is a big plus point for the long-term lifespan and repairability of it. But the big difference to the old one is this upgraded roller. The old one was a traditional brush and you'd get hair stuck in it all the time. The new version has this anti-tangle rubber roller instead. Even the inside of the docking station is identical. This is the new one which claims to have an antibacterial dust bag, and this is the old one that looks exactly the same. Top thrifty money saving tip here from me. These bags cost money. You can make them last longer by reusing them a couple of times. I've cut the corner off one here and used a plastic clip like the ones you use to reseal freezer bags. If you're not an allergy sufferer, then every couple of months you can empty it out and reuse it. I'm just doing this because I don't like the waste of disposable bags. It's a shame that SwitchBot still haven't added a reusable dustbin to this new model. Anyway, back to the review. Both robots look so similar physically that I needed some way to tell them apart, so I've made up a couple of stickers to put on them so as we know which one is which at a glance. Let's run through all of the other specs then. They both have a 4 litre dust bag capacity, although somehow the K10 Plus Pro can manage up to 90 days between emptying compared to 70 days for the old one. I've no idea how that works. There's no dust compression happening or anything. They must have just included TARDIS technology in it or something. The runtime is slightly reduced, only up to 120 minutes compared to 150 minutes before, but I always use it on max anyway, and that's about an hour on both. But the new model, that max suction mode actually gives you 3000 pascals of suction pressure compared to 2500 pascals on the old one. That's 20% more suction if my maths is correct. And they've also reduced noise levels on the lowest setting by 3 decibels from 48 to 45 too, while keeping the same 600 pascals of suction. There are other noise-based improvements they've made too. Both robots have a front bumper which activates a switch when it hits something so as it knows it needs to back off. The old one sounded like this, but the new one sounds like this. Now that might not seem like a big deal to some people, but that clicking noise really got on my nerves. The robot worked out the exact edges of your room by bumping into it. You'd hear it click every couple of seconds as it went around doing the edges. But that clicking noise is now totally eliminated, which is a joy to my ears. Except it probably wasn't necessary for them to improve that because, well, let me show you it in action. This is the old K10 Plus. See how it bonks the walls as it travels along it, trying to figure out how close it can get to it to make sure it cleans it as well as it possibly can. It hits the wall, rotates a bit, moves forward, hits the wall again and repeat. That whole process is noisy and slow. Now, the Pro model by contrast uses the special new PSD sensor which allows it to work out the distance to objects really precisely. You can see it in action because it just drives up to the wall and sweeps straight along it with no collisions, or at least very few collisions. So let's put the two of them against each other head to head. I'm going to get them to both clean the same room, obviously not at the same time, and we'll see which one cleans it faster. I'm not going to compare cleaning quality because it's quite tricky to make sure that the areas to clean are equally dirty in a scientific way. I can tell you from my experience with it so far that it does do slightly better on carpets because of that increased suction power, but on flat floors you probably won't notice any difference. Let's see them in action. So as you can see, the new K10 Plus Pro is slightly faster, finishing the room in 14 minutes and 50 seconds compared to the older robot doing it in 17 minutes and 36 seconds. I think this is all down to that new wall detection sensor reducing the collisions, and as a bonus you get a more thorough cleaning in the corners and edges. So let's talk about cost then, because at full price there's a £200 difference between these models. The K10 Plus is £399 and the Pro is £599. At that kind of price difference I have to say you are probably better off getting the old model. It cleans almost as well, it's a bit noisier, but it's £200 cheaper. However, there is nearly always a sale on somewhere, whether that's direct from SwitchBot's website or on Amazon. At the time of recording this, there's a £180 discount available on the Pro, taking it down to £419, which is considerably more acceptable. I'll probably even have a discount code from SwitchBot too, which you can use, and if I do, then I'll put that down in the description for you. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you did, then please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe for free to see more from me. These people here are my channel members and they get benefits like early access to my videos. If you'd like to become a channel member too, then please check out the link in the description. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.